Hi, I'll be your new professor for this session. My name is Dr. Thomas Simon. I live in Bloomington, Indiana, and I'm a professor, researcher, and author. My education and training started back in 1978. I went to school at the University of Michigan where I got my Bachelor's of Science degree in biology. I went to school then at the University of Wisconsin in La Crosse for my master's degree, also in biology, where I worked on the Mississippi River and studied fish. I continued to work at US EPA, and after a little while I started to miss school and decided to go back for my PhD. I decided to attend at the University of Illinois in Chicago, but I also got a chance to take courses at the University of Chicago. My PhD is in biology, and I studied ecology and evolution and environmental science with emphasis on ichthyology and aquatic ecology. My background includes a variety of work experiences. My very first job was at the University of Michigan, where I worked for the Great Lakes Research Division as a consultant. After a while there, I studied larval fish, and I got to work on a number of really interesting projects that dealt with power plants and yellow perch population dynamics. After graduating, I attended school in Wisconsin, and my real first job was with a consulting company called EA Science and Technology in Northbrook, Illinois. I worked there for 2 years and did power plant studies and lots of field work where I traveled all over the country sampling fish, macroinvertebrates, and virtually anything aquatic. I got a chance to set up my own personal consulting company that I named Large Rivers Research Station. This work gave me the opportunity to conduct research on early life stages of fishes and also to do natural history research on freshwater fish in North America. My most recent opportunity has been with a company named Stantec. Stantec is an international company that's dedicated to doing environmental and ecological restoration. A couple of volunteer opportunities I had. I worked as a research associate for the Field Museum of Natural History in Chicago. I worked in the Division of Fishes for 4 years where I processed fish from North America. And I also worked as an unpaid director for the Indiana Biological Survey, which is a 501c3 not-for-profit public charity that is dedicated to training students on field and laboratory techniques. So how did I actually pay the bills? I started in 1985 working for the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency in Region 5. I was an aquatic biologist in the Central Regional Laboratory where I ran toxicity tests and raised fish in the aquaculture facility, and I conducted field surveys in the 6 Great Lakes states and 26 Native American nations. For my work, I was recognized as a national expert in biological sustainability and criteria. My work involved development of environmental indicators and ecological health. I transferred over to our water division and worked as an environmental manager and water quality standards branch coordinator. My responsibilities were with the state of Ohio and the Ohio River Valley Water Sanitation Commission. I was able to work in the enforcement branch where I was able to be an expert witness for EPA, and I was decorated with 3 congressional bronze medals for my work in the Grand Calumet River and the Meigs mine collapse in southeastern Ohio. I finished my career at EPA after 14 years in the Watershed Non-Point Source Branch. I was responsible for developing biological indicators for the states of Minnesota and Indiana. I also conducted complex multidisciplinary studies of pollution impacts from point source discharges throughout the 6 Great Lakes states. I left EPA and went to the U.S. Department of the Interior, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service in 1998 as a senior contaminants biologist in the Bloomington Field Office. I worked in the Natural Resource Damage Assessment, or NRDA group, where I conducted surveys and studies of Superfund, Great Lakes Areas of Concern, and hazardous waste sites. I was the lead administrative trustee for the NRDA in the Fish Creek case. I left government service in 2010 after 25 years of service. So what about my teaching experience? Well, I have over 25 years of experience. I started teaching while I was still working at EPA for Indiana University at their Northwest campus in the biology department. I taught there for 6 years and went to Purdue University at their North Central campus to teach aquatic courses, natural resource management courses, and environmental indicator courses. I taught for 6 years there and then was asked to teach at main campus in West Lafayette. After moving in 1998 to Bloomington, I began teaching at Indiana State University and at Indiana University in the School of Health, Physical Education, and Recreation, or HYPER. That school is now known as our School of Public Health. Since my retirement from federal service in 2009, I've taught full-time at Indiana University in our School of Public and Environmental Affairs. I also teach at The Ohio State University for the F.T. Stone Laboratory on Gibraltar Island, which is known as the Lake Erie Island Campus. The campus is situated on South Bass Island at Put-in-Bay. There I direct student research and teach ichthyology. I'm also a senior research scientist at Indiana State University, where I conduct my grant research on ecological indicators, ecological health, and the natural history of North American freshwater fish and crayfish. My research program is primarily in the Great Lakes. Most of my work has been conducted in Lake Michigan along its southern shore, in the Indiana Dunes National Lakeshore. Also, I've worked in the western basin of Lake Erie at the Stone Lab. My work is focused on North American freshwater fish and crayfish, with my primary research dealing with environmental indicators. My work is focused mostly on ecological health and the chemical, physical, and biological integrity of surface waters. I've worked all over eastern North America, primarily in the Great Lakes region, but I've done work in Kansas, Alabama, Tennessee, Florida, to name a few of the states. I look forward to working with you this semester. Now that you know a little bit about me, I hope that you will make it a point to let me get to know you. I wish you well this semester and continued success in the pursuit of your academic degree.